So we're going to show you a really great fan today. It's the new Levy Fan. This is a how to put it together type video. It's a little bit different than a normal ceiling fan. It's really fantastic. It's got a lot of great features. So let's go check it out and we'll show you how to do it. So this is the Levy Fan. It's really cool. It comes in two finishes, the brushed nickel and the flat black. As you can see, it's got some extra components up here, not like a normal ceiling fan. And so that's what we're going to show you how to install today. So this is how the product should come to you. Really nice packaging. As you can see, all the different markings. This is a Wi-Fi capable fan. Comes in the multiple finishes. And here we go. But one thing keep in mind, like always, when you open a new box, don't take your knife and go real deep into the box. You may scratch up or cut some parts that are towards the top. So when you open the box, you'll see it's got quite a few parts. This is the top of the box. That's why I was saying be careful when you cut it open. And then after you take out the foam, you'll see that the LED ring is in there along with the motor and the other components. So we'll start sorting this out and put it together. So we recommend that you take the ring and the motor assembly out of the box and set them in with each other. You'll see that there's a number of places where there's some Allen screws that need to go in. We recommend that in each of these locations, you go ahead and put the screws in. Don't put them all the way through, but at least get them started. So you'll see that there's multiple places where there's wires that have come through. So look for that pack in your screw pack and start putting those in. Okay, so the next step, once you get all those screws in their places, is to add the rods. Now, we recommend that you start with the ones that require the wire first. So you have two wires here, and then as you can see in the motor area, there's two wires coming out there. Also pay attention to the tops where you'll see the arrows pointing up and pointing at each other. And what that corresponds with is the down rods here all have this nice little arrow for you. So that helps you line it all up. There's one at the top, one at the bottom. And so what that'll do for you is align your Allen wrenches. So at this point, start with the wires, get those done first. They simply click in, and then do the other two. And like we talked about with the axle fan, keep the screws loose until you've got everything in place, then tighten it down. So once you get those first two rods in, you can see it's important to go ahead and make that wire connection. It just clips in place. You can't reverse it. It has a little clip on it, so it makes it real easy for you. So once that's done, go ahead and put the other two rods in the base. Once you got all four rods in the base, then tighten it up around the top part of the fan. Okay, once you get all of those Allen wrenches Allen screws tightened down around the sides, you'll see that you have your arrows lined up. So this requires, there's another little packet of screws with some Phillips headed screws in there. So take your screwdriver and your Phillips screwdriver and you'll see that hole. These screws pass all the way through where the Allen wrenches just hold the sides into place. So you've got one there and one there and all the way around. So have a total of 8 to put in. So again, the arrows should line you up. You may have to loosen up your Allen wrenches, your Allen bolts a little bit just to make sure that that hole lines up perfectly, but it's no big deal. Just takes a few more minutes. Okay, so now that those screws are in, make sure everything is locked down good from your Allen wrench screws to your Phillips screws. This is the hardest part of the build. From here, it's just like any other fan. We're going to put the canopy on, the down rod on, the blades on, and hang it up and show you what it looks like. So this next step, you're going to add the canopy, the flange cover, and the down rod and the ball onto the top of the fan. So you'll need this parts to go ahead and bring those over to the fan. One of the things that's a little different from this fan to other fans is that the safety pin inside requires a Allen wrench to back it out. It doesn't just slide through and pin like a normal fan. So this will need to be unscrewed, put the down rod in, and then pass it through the down rod and screw it back down tight. So let's go ahead and get that done and we'll show you what that looks like. So once you have the down rod and the wires passing through it. Always remember, craft-made fans, we use what we call a 50-50 down rod, smooth on one side, threaded on the other. Because our yokes are threaded, it's an extra safety feature that we have. It also helps make sure the fan is properly aligned. So now we're going to go ahead and put the cotta pin in. So we're going to thread that down rod in and then put the pin in. Okay, so now that you got the down rod in, screwed in place, just look through the hole, line up where the cotta pin goes through. Be sure though, before you threaded that down rod on there, that you back the other two Allen bolts off. That's another safety feature. So now we're going to go ahead and screw the Allen wrench in with the pin that passes through the down rod and tighten that down into place. So once we get that in place, then we're going to move over and tighten down the other two Allen screws, and the down rod will be firmly in place. So once you got all that put together, so you'll put your yoke cover, the canopy ring, and the canopy on before you put the ball on. Just makes everything a little bit easier, obviously. So now we'll put the ball on. It too, as you can see, has holes in the down rod where there's a safety pin that needs to pass through. Okay, now that you've slid the ball down, go past the holes there and slide your safety pin through. Once you have your safety pin through, go ahead and bring the ball all the way up, and that safety pin will set down into the cast ball. Once that's done, then you take your screwdriver, tighten down the screw that holds it firmly into place, and be pretty firm with it. And once you're all done, you should have a nice solid assembly. Since we're shooting this in our Dallas showroom, we have our hanging bracket on our display cloud here. In your home, you should have it properly secured to a junction box. And for the final wiring instructions, please refer to your manual. As always turn off your junction box for safety purposes, so that if you decide to do this install yourself, you don't get shocked. We also recommend that if you're not comfortable, to use a certified electrician to do the final wiring. So now we'll get into the final assembly here of putting the blades and the bottom together. So these are the final parts you're going to need at this point. So you have the 4 blades, the clear acrylic. You also have a metal plate that is used to put pressure between the screws, the blade, and the motor where the blades are finally connected. And then the final bottom assembly, and we'll get to that once we get the blades in place. When you're starting to put the blades on, pay attention. There's a sticker on the top of the blade that says "this side up." And the reason for this is this blade is shaped for aerodynamic purposes to get maximum airflow. So please make sure that when you install this, your blade is in the proper position. So the blade passes through the outer flywheel, and once you've done that, then you can see we put the black metal brace that squishes the acrylic and holds it into place onto the motor. And this is very important that you have that metal plate on there. If you don't use this step or use the metal bracket, you could crack the acrylic. So that metal bracket spreads the tension across the blade. So a very important step. So we'll go ahead and get the rest of the blades on there. Okay, now that you've got all the blades on, everything's securely in place, it's time to put the final piece. This is the driver / bottom part of the fan that tidies everything up. You'll see there's a Molex connector, there's a male and female end. They're color coded so that you can't put them together incorrectly. So just line up the colors and snap them together. And once you get all of that done, you got to put a little pressure. It has a slotted lockup system, so it just goes up into the middle, line up the notches, and lock it into place. Okay, so now you're all done, ready to go. Turn your power back on if you've already got it wired in place, and sync your remote control, and you're good to go. So that's our Levy fan. I hope this install video helps you out. It's really a great product. It does have Wi-Fi, so if you Go ahead and program your remote control that comes with it. Go and download the Bond app. Once you've done that, just discover the product and you're good to go. It has a lot more features if you use the Bond app, from breeze mode to different dimming settings. So anyway, it's really neat, it's great, it's in stock and ready to go.